Okay, depending on when you're actually watching this, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. My name is Ian Middleton. I am a travel and landscape photographer, and you can find out more about me on my website, ianmiddletonphotography.com, or check me out on Facebook and Instagram at Ian Middleton Photography. Okay, this is one of my quick photography tips, and today I'm going to show you how to do focus stacking. Now, the reason we do focus stacking is quite simply the depth of field of your camera or your settings, whatever you're using at the time, is too narrow. And the only other way to deal with this is to use a technique called focus stacking. And what that means simply is that we're going to take two photographs with two different focal points, and then we're going to blend the two in Photoshop using a technique similar to exposure blending. Now, usually when we need to do this is when this photo I've got here is a classic example. My focus point is very close, so I'm standing quite close to a bunch of trees and I'm photographing the church and the mountain through a gap in these trees. Now, I'm standing quite close, but I'm also zooming in quite close, so I'm shooting at about 100mm focal length. Now, the longer the focal length you use, the narrower your depth of field. So although I set my aperture to f16, I was too close to my object, and the distance between my focus point and my subject in the background was too far, and it fell outside of the depth of field. So I needed to take two photos. Now, the first photo I took, you can see I've focused on the trees and the branches itself, so they're nicely sharp. But if we go in close, you can see that my church and my mountains are blurred. I apologize for that. And so I took a second photograph. And in this case, you can see that this time I focused on the church. So my trees, my branches and the leaves and everything are out of focus, they are blurred, but my church and mountains are nice and sharp. So, but I want both. I want my trees, I want my leaves, my branches to be sharp, and I want my church and my mountain to also be sharp. So what I'm going to do is blend the two. Now, the first thing I'm going to do, obviously I've opened both photographs. I'm going to first of all select the photograph which is focused on the tree. I'm going to go to select all, select the photograph. Then I'm going to go edit, copy, so I make a copy of the photograph. Then I'm going to open my other picture, and I'm going to go to edit and paste. So I'm going to paste the other photo on top of this. So if we go to our layers palette, you can see that I've now got two layers. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is create a layer mask. So I'm going to go to layer, come down here to layer mask and select reveal all. Now down here I've got my black and my white. That's how I want everything to be set. So what I'm going to do now, looking at these two layers, you can see here there's a layer mask. So I'm going to zoom into the area that I want to blend through, which is my church and my mountains. And I'm going to select the brush tool. And the brush tool, I can select the size. So if I want to go bigger, I can select a bigger brush. So I'm going to, for the first part, I'm going to do it nice and big like this. Okay, and then what I do, as you can see, I'm actually painting through the layer underneath. So the layer where the church and the mountains are in focus, I'm painting these areas through. So I'm making my mountain tops, my tops of my tree here, the church and everything, all this area around here, I'm painting it all through. So I bring that focused layer on top. There we go. It's that simple, really. There you go, and that's it. Now if I take this back down, now we can see I've got everything sharp. I've got my branches sharp, and I've got my mountains and my church nice and sharp. So that's it. It's done. Now I go to layer, I flatten the image into one layer, okay, and then this important part, I save it as something else. So usually what I do here, for example, I'll put focus stacking. I've already got one on this. I'm going to make it focus stacking too. And I save the TIFF. And that's it. Job done. It's that simple. So have a go yourself. If you're interested also in how to do exposure blending, you can check out my tutorial on that, which you'll find on my blog. Okay, so thanks for watching. Catch you later.